Welcome to another episode of Alcohol and Atrocities. I am your host, Michelle,
And I am your host, Chela.
and we are here. We are queer, and our pain is moderate to severe. Um, we are your sometimes weekly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly
Annually.
episode for your true crime and atrocities.
Your AA meeting for all things true crime and historical atrocities. Bitch, if you're going to do the intro, do
I
it
know.
right.
I can't ever. This is why I don't do it. This is why I don't do it, guys. So today we are actually hitting up part 2 of the White Terror of Spain, España.
Well, the white and red terror.
White and red, yeah. It's in there. They both happened at the same time-ish.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out how to split it up because you literally couldn't talk about one without talking about the other because they just coincide with each other so hard. But if you remember from our last episode, basically Spain is at civil war right now. They hate each other. They're going after each other. It doesn't matter if you are a woman, child, man, whatever. They are going after you. So yeah, welcome back. This is going to be great because now we get to talk about the cooperation of the Spanish Church. Which, if you guys didn't know, was the Holy Roman Empire, aka Catholicism.
And because it's Catholicism, I thought it would be fitting for the ex-Roman Catholic to go ahead and introduce it.
You know what I think is very funny is I know your parents don't listen to us, but my dad actually does listen to us. My mom refuses to listen to any of our episodes. She's like, Gisela, I'm happy you're doing what you want to do. You're doing your podcast. You're talking about murder, but yeah, my mom's just like, respectfully, I can't listen to your podcast because I don't condone murder. Like, we're out here telling. Okay, so
we're
yes,
not out of murder.
We've had episodes in the past where I've hinted at the different countries that you should murder in and also the different states. But I don't condone murder. Please don't murder your significant other.
Yeah.
Get a divorce, Michelle.
Yeah, seriously. I will not become a podcast. I hope not.
Oh, I definitely will. I definitely will. The way my life is going, I'm not going to kill Josh because I love Josh with all my heart, even though he doesn't think that I do, but I do. I definitely do. But I don't know. It might be somebody at work. I might go postal.
We are still drinking Sangria, which is the national drink of Spain, in case you did not know. Look at us learning.
You know, I think it's very funny that you want me to read the cooperation of the Spanish Church because, even if my mom did listen to our podcast, this would be where she stopped.
This would be
because I want you guys to understand what I grew up with, right? Let me just give you a little insight to my life because my dad's an open book just like me, so he won't care. Hey, Dad. But my mom is very private. But since she doesn't listen to this, and none of her friends support me either, so I don't give a fuck. I grew up with a heavily religious Puerto Rican mom. When I say heavily religious, I mean I did all of my sacraments that I needed to do up to a certain point in age for the Catholic Church. But on the other end of that, I also grew up with a conspiracy theory Dominican father who believes in science, who believes that Star Trek is more believable than the Roman Catholic Church.
So you've got combating forces. You were doing from the start.
Bro, when I tell you, and I remember too, at one point when I was 14 years old, I was confirmed in the Catholic faith. My name was a very long confirmation name because if you guys don't know, when you get confirmed under a Catholic saint. So you're
That's the thing I didn't do. Yeah,
your name changes. So instead of being Gisela Maria Lopez Reyes, I was Gisela Maria Pio Lopez Reyes.
Pio because Pio.
I was confirmed under Padre Pio.
Oh God.
The
Pio,
patron,
Pio, Pio.
the patron Italian saint of children and women's welfare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then like my dad was like, that's all bullshit, right? Like, so like I had combating forces raising me. So like I would spend, during the year would be with my mom. And when I was 14, I would wear the head scarves to church and the skirts and all that. And then when I would go down to my dad would be like, fuck all that shit. Like,
Nah,
God is what you want it to be.
My dad's religious.
Like,
but my dad's like an open-minded religious guy.
Put it like this. Whereas your dad is open-minded when it comes to religion, my dad has a poster that hanged in his house that was a wanted poster.
Oh my God.
And let me tell you what this wanted poster said in English.
Oh God.
Because he got it when he was traveling the world. He's got a wanted poster. It's got a picture of Jesus Christ on it. And it says, wanted, supposed miracle worker.
Wow. Wow.
So, like, imagine being a little Roman Catholic girl, doing everything good, my God, and then going with your fucking radical fucking father who's got a wanted poster of a supposed miracle worker.
That's crazy.
If y'all are curious as to why I am a pagan witch.
Right. Right.
So yes, part 2, the cooperation of the Spanish church as read by an ex-Roman Catholic. The Spanish church approved of the White Terror, which is not shocking if you know the history of the Spanish church. And they cooperated with the rebels, according to Anthony. Also, if you want us to have a Patreon and explain to you how me and Michelle became friends, please let us know, and then we'll do one.
It's interesting, yeah.
And we'll make it cheap enough to where everybody can afford it. Obviously, we're literally not in this for the money. I do actually want y'all to understand we're one of the only podcasts that uses Spotify for podcasters. We don't have ads, and we're not monetized.
Yeah.
We're not monetized on YouTube either because we don't have the followers for YouTube. So we literally do this because we want to.
Literally.
So if we do drop the Cash App, $Lopez Gisela 92. If y'all want to donate, by all means, go ahead. Because we don't make any money off of this.
Yeah.
We literally do this for the shits and gigs because we like it. Anyway. So, the Spanish church approved of the White Terror and the cooperation with the rebels, according to Anthony Beaver. And also, I would like to point out his name is spelled Beevor. Beaver.
Yeah, I hate it.
So, if you know how to say that in Spanish, please let me know.
I don't even think he's Spanish. But anyway, continue.
Yeah. Cardinal Goma stated that Jews and Masons, remember the Freemasons that we talked about in the first episode, poisoned the national soul with absurd doctrine. A few brave priests put their lives at risk by criticizing nationalist atrocities, but the majority of the clergy in nationalist areas revealed in their newfound power and the increased size of their congregations, anyone who did not attend Mass faithfully was likely to be suspected of quote-unquote red tendencies. Entrepreneurs made a great money selling religious symbols, which they still do to this day. It was reminiscent of the way Inquisition's persecution of Jews and Moors helped make pork such an important part of Spanish diet. And if you know anybody from I don't care if it's Latin America, South America, the Caribbean, you know, we love our pork.
Sure do.
And to find out that we were basically indoctrinated to like pork to, whatchamacallit, the Jews? What?
Yep. Girl.
Like, I just want my pernil and my chicharrón. Like, why does it have to tie back to
why does it gotta
go
back
Jews?
To religious trauma?
Right? Like, come on.
Oh God.
Other witness in Zamora said, quote, many priests acted very badly. No shit. The bishop in Zamora in 1936 was more or less an assassin. Also, if you're curious of who this bishop of Zamora was, in 1936, it was Manuel Arcel Yeah, that's a long ass name.
Ocho Torena.
Ocho Torena. Nevertheless, the nationalists killed at least 16 Basque
Bas-
nationalists. I was saying it in Spanish.
Basque.
Basque nationalist priests. Among them, the archpriest of Mon. This literally in
Yep,
English says Mondragon.
that's literally it. Mondragon.
Mondragon.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
So I like that last name.
Yeah. And imprisoned or deported hundreds more several priests who tried to halt the killings, and at least one priest who was a Mason were killed.
Damn. So Jews and Masons. So I mean, fit for the climate. You know, World War II is happening. Nazi Germany is happening. Of course, Spain is like Jews are in the mix. Fucking
Maybe I
assholes.
fell asleep during this, but what the fuck did the Jews do to anybody?
Literally nothing. Literally nothing. They were just vibing. They were just vibing and minding their business.
Because, like, even to this day, like, okay, as many
There,
of you,
there's like deep rooted hatred for the Jews in history as them being favored in some way. They are taking away from German citizens, Spanish citizens by building their businesses and stuff. Just for existing, they are somehow viewed as like having special and it's also deeply rooted in anti-Semitism, thinking that the Jews are at the top of the food chain and control the world governments and things like that. And this goes back to like back in what's the dark ages. Like this goes back. So it just starts from that, from maybe one Jew pissed off somebody in the Middle Ages, and we're just here. So all of it is
because
the same thing.
even as modern as like Hollywood and stuff like that,
Hmm.
people are like, oh, the Jews control Hollywood. And I'm just
Yeah,
like, how?
and just because the Jews exist in Hollywood, because yes, there are many Jews in Hollywood, but there are many Jews in other things too.
But
So yeah,
here's what I have to say, my little soapbox moment. I haven't gotten on my soapbox since we talked about Jeffrey Dahmer. You cannot get mad at a specific group of people basically taking their wealth and investing it back into their own people.
themselves. Yeah,
Like, I'm
absolutely.
sorry that your family didn't do that for you, but there's no reason to chastise or condemn an
Yeah,
entire ethnic group of people
and they
because
do
they
be
did that.
vibing. They really do just be vibing.
Because, like, as somebody who does the work that I do, and I never really mentioned exactly what I do, everybody just knows I work in the casino, and we're just going to keep it at that.
Yeah,
Because I really don't want to get fired. Because again, we don't
yeah.
do this for profit. I need my job, guys. But I've seen it with other ethnic groups where you have literally one person who distributes the money between everybody else, and they're like, oh, go gamble. There's also a very infamous movie about Asian people. It's called Crazy Rich Asians. If you
Hmm.
watch that movie, although it's hilarious, don't get me wrong, but that movie is talking all about generational wealth. Like, you can't get mad for a specific group of people doing that, just that.
Right,
Like,
right,
I'm sorry your mom's family didn't give a fuck about you. Like,
right.
there's no reason to exterminate a whole group of people because of that. And that's just like my stance on it. I know for damn sure my dad's trying to set me and my brother up generational wealth wise, you know. I'm not going to sit here and condemn everybody else because they haven't done it. Not everybody has the means to do it. But and that's like my whole thing. Like, you can't sit there and get mad at one or two specific groups of people, because even with our one episode, what was it? Episode 3? The Dominican serial killer who was going
Hmm.
after Asian
Asian,
merchants.
specifically Chinese merchants. Yeah,
You know, you can't condemn somebody of a specific group or race.
because they redistributed their wealth within their own people, within their community, and they seem to hold that as some sort of favoritism. But I mean, you're gonna help your cousin over Joe from down the block.
Yeah. And don't worry, guys. I know we've been talking about a lot of international groups. Like I said in the part 1 of this episode, I am down to become an enemy of the state. I will talk about what America
The
did to.
plenty. I feel like America could be its own fucking series. Like
Oh,
Oh my
absolutely.
god.
From what they did to African American people and demolishing the towns that they built,
Hmm. The
like how
sterilization of Puerto Rican women,
the sterilization of Puerto Rican women, the ripping apart the communities that African Americans built, like
the
Central
concentration
Park.
camp of Japanese people, because let's call it what it is. It was concentration camp.
Yeah, bro. Like,
We
ugh.
can we can do this all day. Anyway, that side.
Back to Spain.
Yes.
Sorry. Um, Regarding the callous attitude of the Vatican, Manuel Montero, lecturer of the University of Basques Country, commented on May 6, 2007, the church which upheld the idea of a national crusade in order to legitimize the military rebellion was a belligerent part during the Civil War. Even at the cost of alienating part of its members, it continued in a belligerent role in its unusual answer to historical memory law by recurring to the beatification.
The beautification.
I didn't say beautification because there's no U.
I don't know where it's at. Okay, maybe not.
That's why I said,
Beautification.
yeah, that's why I said beatification of 498 quote unquote martyrs of the Civil War. The priests executed by Franco's army are not counted among them. It continues to be a church that is incapable of transcending its own one sided behavior of 70 years ago.
Mm.
Damn.
This guy was like, I got receipts.
And I can't say, it's
Amenable.
like an yeah, that to the fact that this past should always haunt us in its political use of granting religious recognition, one can perceive its indignation regarding the compensations to the victims of France
Francoism.
Francoisism. No,
Francoism.
Francoisism. Francoisism.
Oh my god, not Francoisism.
Its selective criteria regarding the religious person that were part of its ranks are difficult to fathom. The priests who were victims of Republicans are the quote unquote martyrs who died forgiving, but those priests who were executed by
Francois.
Francois are forgotten.
This guy had several qualms for the freaking church. He came with hands.
And
He
this was
said
in 2007.
the church is a piece of shit. He was ready. 2007. He was playing no games.
Absolutely
Shit.
not. As an ex-Catholic myself, I come with hands all the time.
That.
My
So,
favorite thing whatsoever, and this has nothing to do with Spain and everything to do with the Roman Catholic Church. So, if you
mhm,
guys want to know, I went to Catholic school from kindergarten to 8th grade, all your
yeah.
formidable years.
Yeah.
And I will never forget when I went to this one specific school. I'm not going to say the name because my sister currently resides at that school because I'm a million years older than my siblings. But she currently goes to the school, and I remember, and I have a friend who actually, we went to the school together, and she listens to this podcast too, so I'm not going to call out the school out of like respect for her because she's still within the Catholic religion. I will never forget, we had this priest that would look over all of us, kind of like how you have a principal and an assistant principal.
Yeah.
Instead of that, we had a priest and we had a sister.
Hmm.
I'm not going to say either of their names. Maybe again, if we do a Patreon, I will. But I'm not going to say either of their names. And I will never forget that he used to preach the whole, do unto others as you would want done. And you have to live by the 10 commandments and blah, 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 blah. And I will never forget, cut to, I want to say, maybe 15 years later, I had to take a friend of mine to DUI court
Yeah.
because unfortunately she had gotten a DUI. And you'll
Don't stigmatize
never
that.
fucking guess who I saw at DUI court.
The guy.
The priest from my school. And I went up to him, called him out by name, which I'm not going to do here. But I went to him, called him up by name, and I was like, hey, are you bringing a friend? Because I'm bringing a friend. I don't have any, DUIs. Again,
Right.
don't drink and drive. And he was like, no, I was caught drinking and driving.
Dizzy.
And I was like, wow,
Wow,
that's
bitch.
very unholy of you.
For real. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we are now about to talk about the repression in the South and the drive to Madrid. The White Terror was especially harsh in the southern parts of Spain, in Andalusia and Extremadura. The rebels bombed and seized the working class districts of the main Andalusian cities in the first days of the war, and afterwards went on to execute thousands of workers and militants on the leftist parties. In the city of Cordoba, 4,000 were killed. In the city of Granada, 5,000. In the city of Seville, 3,028, which is very specific. In the city of Huelva was 2,000 killed and 2,500 disappeared. But we all know what that means.
Yeah.
Bitches is gone, they dead. In the city of Malaga, occupied by the Nationalists in February 1937, following the Battle of Malaga, it experienced one of the harshest repressions following Francoist victory, with an estimated total of 17,000 people summarily executed. What that means, in case you don't know, it just means without trial, just you're guilty at the end. And they were killed. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So for one go.
But like, bro, remember in the first episode,
Yeah, no.
the numbers that we listed off in that episode were in the
We're just going.
150,000s.
Mm-hmm.
They did not give a fuck.
It makes me
Spain,
wonder how many people were in Malaga that you guys had 17,000 to spare. Because that could be a whole town. For
that
all we
can be
know.
a whole town. That's all of Fort Lauderdale right there.
It's crazy. Carlos Arias Navarro, a then young lawyer who was a public prosecutor, signed thousands of execution warrants in the trial set up by the triumphant rightists. He became known the Butcher of Malaga, Carnicero de Malaga.
I never knew that that's how you said butcher in Spanish until I was researching this, because this is still my research, guys. Carnicero.
Yep.
I kind of just want
Pero.
that title.
It's just fun. La
Yeah.
carnicera de Fort Lauderdale.
Yep. Technically Dania, but yeah, Fort Lauderdale.
True. 4,000 people were buried in mass graves. So this guy's a young lawyer.
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if anybody has noticed, but I have noticed Spain is full of mass graves.
Yes. They're haunted everywhere.
It has to be.
Go.
Because like every town has had mass graves
in a lot, yeah.
And it makes me think American wise, because I grew up in the United States, but I did spend time in other countries, but primarily I grew up in the United States. And you more so than me, because I'm from Jersey, you're from New York. But every single time we talk about mass graves, you know what comes to mind?
No.
Central Park.
Oh yeah. Haunted as fuck.
Because Central Park, and they're just now discovering this too, was a whole affluent African American town.
It was African American and basically underprivileged, poor white, and something else. So it was somebody else. Probably native, to be honest.
Yeah.
But anyway, all I can say is that from what I've read, because I like ghost stories, Spain is haunted as fuck.
Spain is like Louisiana.
Yeah, pretty much.
The only thing is with Louisiana was like, yeah, we're haunted as fuck, but come down here and see why we're haunted as fuck. Whereas Spain is like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Even towns in rural areas were hit hard, such as Lora del Rio, where the Nationalists killed 300 peasants as reprisal for the assassination of a local landowner. Jesus Christ.
So one person's death constituted the reason to kill
300.
300 other people.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit.
Experts estimate that the total number of victims of the nationalists in Andalusia at 55,000. Crazy. The Spanish Army of Africa made their way to Madrid through Andalusia and Extremadura and routinely killed dozens or hundreds in every town or city conquered. But the massacre of Badajoz, the number of Republicans killed reached several thousand. The colonial troops raped many working class women and looted homes of Republicans. And here we go back to Que Podellano. If you remember from episode 1. The nationalist, known for his radio broadcast as a means of psychological warfare, said, "Our brave legionnaires and regulares have shown the red cowards what it means to be a man, and incidentally, the wives of the Reds, too. These communist and anarchist women, after all, have made themselves fair game by the doctrine of free love. And now they have at least the acquaintance of real men, and not milksops of militiamen. Kicking their legs about and struggling won't save them." So he is promoting and
Rape.
encouraging the rape.
Rape. Yeah.
Yeah. He
That's
was like, yeah,
insane to me.
real men. Oh my
Real
God.
men don't rape, by the way. I just want to put that out
Literally.
there. Hey,
Can we just
like,
a
real men
moment?
don't rape.
Right.
Again, my soapbox. I need it again. Real men don't rape. Real men understand when you do not want to have the snoo.
Exactly.
You know, like, no man out here is going to be like, well, you have to have sex with me. Nobody has to have sex with
At all.
anybody. Like that,
At all.
to me, the fact that this specific Kenepo was sitting here saying that,
I'm sorry, that's good.
specifically saying it on the radio,
Yeah.
like, hey, bitches, you're gonna get fucking raped, and it doesn't matter if you try to close your legs or kick us off, we're still gonna fucking rape you. Because like we said in episode 1, women will give born to fascists.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, pero like, we're from America. If you haven't noticed, they're doing the same thing to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we get into specifically anti-Catalan hostility. Catalan is one of the demographics. What would you say? I don't know if you would say like.
You know more about Spain than I do. After they told me that they wiped out my Taino ancestors, and you were like, no, there's still Taino people alive this day, I don't believe anything.
Okay, well, Catalan is just basically a subsection of different Spaniards. Like you got the Basque, you got the Galatians, you got Catalonia. But Catalonia apparently suffered the fiercest engagement during the Civil War. They had so many priests that talked shit about Catalanes. Specifically, one Jose Artero preached during a sermon, because remember, these are priests. Perros catalanes, no sois dignos del sol que os alumbra, which means, Catalan dogs, you are not worthy of the sun that shines on you.
You know, for somebody who also likes drama and Broadway as much as me, I hate the fact that you didn't read that with such emotion.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, my the stage was not ready for me. Franco said the honor was not, quote unquote, because they had fought better, but because they were those who felt more hatred. That is, more hatred towards Catalonia and the Catalanes. So to him, the reason they fought so good was because of hatred. It's like, again, they were doing this surviving. They were just existing. A close friend of Franco, fucking Franco, you know, he's mentioned in everything. He's obviously the head of everything, but he didn't do shit except talk shit.
It's really funny when you literally like look at the White and Red Terror. You see his name multiple times,
And
but
he's
not. But he's not the head of anything.
He didn't do
like,
shit.
He's just there.
He's
vibing.
Just a friend of.
Yeah.
It's crazy. A close friend of Franco, Victor Ruiz Albeniz, published
Albeniz.
Albeniz.
How do I
No,
know how to say that and you
no,
don't?
Albeniz. Albeniz.
Albeniz. I said it.
Albeniz. Okay, okay. Albeniz published an article in which he demanded that Catalonia receive quote unquote a biblical punishment, Sodom and Gomorrah, to purify
Sodomin.
Sodom.
Sodomin. It's Sodomin and Gomorrah.
It's Sodom.
It's not Sodom. It's Sodomin and Gomorrah.
Okay, well, Sodom and Gomorrah, even though
Bro,
those are not
I
the
will
words that are in
fight
this.
your fucking
I'm telling
Pentecostal
you,
ass right
where's
now.
the end? Where's the end?
It's Sodomin.
Sodom.
Sodomin and Gomorrah.
Sodom.
Oh my God.
Sodom and Gomorrah.
I swear to God. When am I going to see you again? August. It's on, bitch. It's on. As soon as you open the door, I'm throwing fucking hands.
Sodom. Here by the Red City, the headquarters of anarchism and separatism, as the only remedy to remove two cancers by relentless cauterization.
I also got a cancer removed by cauterization.
Apparently, Catalonia was the cancer.
I wouldn't say mine was thyroid cancer.
Yours is actual cancer.
Yeah, mine was actual cancer.
While for Serrano Suñer, brother-in-law of Franco, freaking Franco, bro, and the Minister of the Interior, Catalan nationalism was quote unquote an illness. Basically, just because you were proud to be Catalan. Imagine just minding your business, living in Catalonia, you go to church, and they're like, fuck you, Catalonian dogs. I just gave you the vibe.
I would have just walked out.
It's
and then probably gotten shot as soon as I walked out of the church.
Oh my God, that's funny. The man appointed as civil governor of Barcelona, Wenceslao González Oliveros, said that Spain was raised with as much or more force against the dismembered let me read that.
Statutes.
Yeah. Statutes as against the communism, and that any tolerance of regionalism would again lead to the same processes of putrefaction that we had just surgically removed. So
you
again,
know what I think is funny? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I need to get this thought out before I forget it, because out of the two of us, I'm very drunk. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm at like a 20. The more and more we read about this, the more and more it was literally people just woke up and chose chaos.
It really was.
Because it didn't matter if you were a Freemason, if you were Jewish, if you were fucking Spaniard from the east side or the west side.
Like, we're from Spain. Oh, you like the fact that you're from Catalonia? Guess what? Anti-Spain. We're gonna kill you too. Like what?
But you're still Spaniard.
But you're still Spaniard, yeah.
So you're literally in a no-win situation.
That's like the U.S. having a war and killing anybody that wasn't pro-American, and everyone that's like, I'm a New Yorker, shooting them because they're like not American enough. That's literally what's happening here.
So wait a minute. Are you comparing this to the American Civil War between the Confederates?
No. I'm not saying it's if America were to right now break out into war.
Okay.
And say only the true Americans are to be saved. And for example,
live the South.
Right. For example, the New Yorkers always are like, I'm a New Yorker. So because you identify as a New Yorker, you get killed because you're not American enough. But technically, being a New Yorker by default means that you are American.
You're literally describing the Civil War.
No.
Yes, the Confederate. Bullshit. Bullshit. The Confederate versus the Union Army. It was literally the South shall rise.
Anyways, whatever.
Because they thought they were the true. I almost said Hispanics.
Wow,
they thought they were the true.
The South is gonna rise up.
I mean, technically, they are the true.
Yeah.
Mexicans.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, you're literally describing the Civil War of America because literally
Potato,
the
potato, tomato, tomato.
The Confederates were like, we're more American. And the Union soldiers were like, no, we're more American. They're like, no, we're more American because we got slavery. And it's like, no, we're more American because we don't have slavery.
Well, I guess in that aspect, yeah, but I was relating more towards like what they called themselves because they're literally being attacked for being proud to be Catalonian.
But also at the same time, we both do live in Florida. And I don't
Yeah.
know if you have many Floridian friends that are native to Florida like I do. I have a lot of friends who were born and raised in South Florida, and
Hmm.
they absolutely hate. Now, when I say hate, I mean capital HATA, the Northerners for moving down here.
Oh yeah, I
Because
noticed that.
all they hear 24/7 is, oh, New York has better this, Jersey has better that, Philadelphia has better this. And I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, I love all my Floridian friends. I do. I hold y'all near and dear to my heart,
But we really do
but
have it
y'all's
better.
fucking Chinese food bagels and pizza suck ass cheeks.
Let's go. Let's fucking go. There's a reason I only go to Chinese spots to say New York style.
Facts. I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Maybe it's the water.
Mm. Mm.
Because a lot of the food down here just doesn't taste the same. And I mean, even for like chained restaurants like
I
Olive
mean,
Garden and Red Lobster.
the only place that I found good pizza is notorious because they ship their water from New York to Florida to make their pizza dough. So it might actually be the water.
Yeah, I had somebody get into a full fledged argument with me at work, and I'm like, bro, just humor me. Take a trip to New York. Take a trip to fucking Pennsylvania.
Just leave the fucking state.
Try a legit Philly cheesesteak.
Oh my god, yeah.
A legit Philly cheesesteak, and I'm talking fried onions and cheese whiz.
Oh my
I'm
god,
not
there's
talking
one.
I'm not talking provolone cheese with green bell peppers
No,
and onions.
no.
I'm talking about a Geno's fucking steak, regular, with whiz and onions.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the fuck I'm talking
There was
about.
one place in Florida that had the best Philly cheesesteaks because they were from Philly. It was motherfucking Philly Junction in Fort Myers, Florida. Cheese whiz, the fries, everything was amazing.
And like, take it from me because I don't even like cheese whiz, bro. Do you want to know my cheesesteak order? This is my cheesesteak order.
Mm-hmm.
A cheesesteak with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, and provolone cheese.
Mm.
That is my order for a cheesesteak. But when I'm at Geno's in South Philly, oh, best believe I'm getting the cheese whiz with the fried onions.
Facts.
I like how our hatred of Spain went in all the way into like our hatred of
Yeah.
Florida and the food.
Sorry, Florida. Even Catalan conservatives such as Francesc Cambo, Cambo were themselves frightened by Franco's hatred and spirit of revenge. Hold on. President of Catalonia, Luis Companys, went into exile in France. Spanish authorities asked him to be extradited to Germany. It is unclear if he was detained by the Gestapo or the military police, the Wehrmacht, but was then deported to Spain, where after a summary court martial without due process, he was executed on October 15, 1940. So the Nazis are helping Spain nationalists. If you needed another reason to think that the nationalists are bad guys, the Nazis are helping.
Well, obviously, because the Nazis were all about race purification.
Yeah, and that was what they were, doing. The confluence between Spanish regenerationism and the degenerist theories originated in France and Great Britain must also be considered. So this thought was from Great Britain and France. As a consequence, it is theorized a racial degeneration caused conflicts against the social status quo, and it advocated eugenics and the cleanse of one's own race and racism to avoid mixing it with quote unquote inferior races. So that's the meat and potatoes of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
This theorizing towards the quote unquote new man was gaining strength, and its zenith is Nazi racial politics. Catalonia is accused of having a favorable treatment, impoverishing the rest of Spaniards in a behavior that is considered as Semitic. So, the same way that Germany was like, hey guys, we're doing poorly because the Jews are doing so well and they're taking opportunities from us, they were looking at Catalonia and saying, well, if they're doing good, it's because they're taking from us.
But what I hate so much is the fact that Catalonians were still Spaniards.
They're literally still Spaniards. It's
The
just a
same
part.
way, the same way Jewish people were still German Jews.
Exactly. They made something out of nothing. And as such, Catalan industrial wealth could not be tolerated. And the Catalanism of any kind was called separatism.
You know what really makes my ass itch?
What makes your ass itch, girl?
Because, like, not for nothing, and y'all can
Mm-hmm.
hate me all y'all want, but remember, I'm both sides of the same coin, unlike my co host. This also reminds me of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans.
Mm. I can see that.
Puerto Ricans hate Dominicans so much because Dominicans made it a point to get out of their impoverished country and come to Puerto Rico and make something of themselves. And if you don't believe me, you can go watch Bad Bunny's video for Al Pagon. Because in
Yeah.
his video, the video, not the song, the video, he has a documentary, and in one of the parts of the documentary, there's this lady from the Dominican Republic who moved to Puerto Rico for a better life, who is now facing, the whole having to move out because like white people want her land pretty much.
Yeah.
But like it reminds me of the hatred that Puerto Ricans have against Dominicans.
I'm
And
not
it
gonna agree to this. I feel a lot of the hatred is instilled in American Puerto Ricans, people living in the motherland. Because I've never have come across that hatred in Ireland.
I have.
Fair enough.
I
That's
have.
fair.
And I say that because, like I said earlier in the episode, so most of y'all don't know this, but I spent my time split up between New Jersey, Florida, Dominican Republic, and Puerto Rico.
Same
So
except for Dominican Republic.
I grew up in all three of those places. And there was specific times where I would get asked, hey, can you make your accent not sound so Dominican?
I could see that. Okay. I can see that.
And it's just like, why do I have to hide half of myself when it shouldn't be a problem? It
Right.
shouldn't matter that my dad is Dominican. Because my
Right.
mom is Puerto Rican and I'm in Puerto Rico. It's not my fault that I have a Dominican accent.
Right.
Whereas in Dominican Republic, being as though that I'm very fair skinned, because if y'all don't know what I look like in real life, I'm white.
Mm-hmm.
I'm white. I naturally, not now, but naturally, I have black hair. It's very jet black. And I have dark, deep brown eyes with a yellow halo, and dark brown eyebrows. There should be no reason for me to sit there and hide the fact that, yeah, I'm diluted.
Yeah.
Clearly, I'm diluted. You put me.
Yeah, you're racially ambiguous.
Yeah, I'm racially ambiguous. And that's why I love when guests at the casino are like, are you from Italy? Are you Portuguese? Are you this? Are you that? And I'm like, y'all are nowhere on the fucking radar. I am from the Caribbean. And they're just like, what? Because in their minds, I don't look what a Caribbean looks like.
Right.
That's why I don't, like, a lot of people hate me for this, but I don't tell people I'm Puerto Rican.
Right.
I tell people I'm Dominican because I love that look of what? On their face, especially when I say, like, because they'll be like, oh,
contrast.
They'll be like, oh, what town are you from? Because they expect me to say Santo Domingo, which is
the
capital, which is where you have most of the fair skinned Dominicans. But no, I'll say Asua, which is where my dad grew up, which is where you have mostly dark skinned Dominicans. And they'll look at me and they'll be like, there's no fucking way. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Although, my dad's actually from La Vega, which isn't any better. It's also El Campo.
Right.
But it's a different side of El Campo. And it's just like this whole thing that Spain was doing, like it reflects in a lot of the colorism and the racism that we have in the colonies of Spain.
Yeah.
you know,
I can see that.
and you know, the hatred of Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans, or Puerto Ricans versus Dominicans versus Cubans versus
Yeah.
Brazilians versus, you know,
Yeah.
everybody. And it's just like, wow, the self-hatred that Spain had for itself literally poured over to their colonies.
Right.
And it's horrible. But it's just like, wow. Like, yeah, in the States, you have the whole thing of like New Yorkers can't live anywhere outside of New York. New Jersey's just as bad as New York. Pennsylvania's its own fucking thing. Maryland just cares about their blue crabs. You know, like, yeah, you have like these connotations of each other, but at the end of the day, nothing disputes the fact that you're American.
Right.
You're just a different flavor of American.
Right.
Like, even with Texas and Florida, being as though we're nowhere near each other, but we always get compared to each other. Like, Florida and Texas are always in comparison with each other. Ron DeSantis and Ted Cruz are always being compared to each other.
Anyways, another rant for another day.
Sorry.
So, post-war, you want to read that or?
Yes.
Okay.
Post-war, when Heinrich Himmler. Ooh, props to me. Everybody take a shot. I fucking pronouncing it right.
Proud of you, bitch. Proud of you.
He visited Spain in 1940, a year after Franco's victory. He claimed to have been, quote unquote, shocked by the brutality of the Fangulist repression.
This is fucking Himmler.
Himmler
That says
was
a lot.
shocked.
That says a lot.
Bruh. Oh my God. And this is so funny. Every single time the dates come up, I'm like, wow, this is all within like 3 years of each other.
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're in July of 1939. The forest minister of fascist Italy, I can't say this, damn it.
Galeazzo Ciano.
Yeah, because you speak Italian. I don't. I was only Italian by insertion for a very short time.
Oh, and
everybody knows my son is Italian and Sicilian, yes. Puerto Rican, and Dominican.
Indeed.
He reported of trials going on every day at a speed which I would call almost summary. There are still a great number of shootings, samesies. In Madrid alone, between 200 and 250 a day.
Mm-hmm.
In Barcelona, 150. In Seville, 80. Bruh. The fuck?
Yep.
Damn.
And this is coming from fascist Italy.
Yeah.
They were like, what's going on?
Which, like I said, again, we are not going over fascist Italy. We are not going over Mussolini, and we're definitely not touching Germany during this time frame. Right. I hope all of y'all were.
See the fact that they're shocked just how insanely fast this is happening.
Repressive laws that were put into effect. Oh, God. Law of political responsibilities declared guilty of a crime of military rebellion all those who were members of a popular front party and all those who had opposed the military coup d'etat. I don't like this, and this is only the first law. I got like 5 more.
You want me to read them?
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
Law of security of state regarded illegal propaganda or labor strikes as military rebellion. What?
So any sort of propaganda that they considered illegal or any sort of work strikes were considered military rebellion. And thus you could be executed. Jesus Christ.
Bruh. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Law for the repression of Masonry and communism.
So basically, if you were a Mason, you were communist. Just by that.
So it's safe to say that Spain was more fascist than they were
Yes,
communist, because what I'm
correct.
seeing is they were really going after the communists.
Yeah, the Republicans are communism. The nationalists are fascists.
Okay, so I gotta ask,
Hmm.
and this is gonna be a rant, so hold on, guys. We're only an hour and 9 minutes into the fucking
Only
episode. Why not? Um, what do you think is worse? Do you think a fascist state is
fascists.
worse, or
Fascists.
why?
Why? Because the fascists have the mentality of it's us or you're wrong. And it's more about totalitarianism in terms of thinking, behavioral. They do not give a fuck. It's their way or the highway. There's room for in communism. With I'm not saying I'm a communist, but I'm saying within communism, there's still a give and take. There's still a back and forth. You can have opposing parties in within it. Not strictly like a like a democracy, but it can happen. And there's still a bit of freedom to it. Have there been fascist communists? Absolutely. But it still comes back to fascism. Fascism is worse no matter what.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I didn't.
Communism in itself is not, it's not bad. It has ideals that are good and it doesn't like restrict people.
Mhm.
Fascism restricts.
Okay,
Yeah.
I must have been asleep during that lesson.
Just people tend to argue that communism just is not functional in real life world. And that could be debatable, but fascism
I
is just
don't
the truth.
know. The more we Google people who have to do with communism versus fascism, I feel like communism
Oh there.
would suit the United States.
I'm not saying I agree, but bitch, I agree. Damn.
Like, I'm sorry, but the more and more I look up things that have to do with communism, I'm like, why?
In theory, right. Exactly. And that's why Bernie Sanders scares people because he is a socialist, uh, democratic socialist, which can teeter in communist ideals. And people are so afraid of that, but they're just associating that with fascism.
I'm gonna say it. I think America is scared of communism because of Russia.
Absolutely. You're 100% correct. And the problem is that right now we're teetering on fascism and we don't even know it.
No,
And
bro, not even we. Florida.
Florida in itself.
Florida itself
Yeah.
is teetering on fascism.
Yeah.
Again, the Cash App is
Anyway.
$Lopez Gisela 92.
Or
Anyway.
$ Goth Bay too.
Don't worry, at the end of the episode, we'll put both of us, and depending on who you like better, which is probably me,
Yeah.
you guys can donate. Okay, so the next law, because I got what, one, two, three, I think 4 laws left, maybe. I don't know. Law for the repression of bantery and terrorism.
Banditry.
I don't care. Either way, it's pronounced correctly. But what?
So basically, if you looted in protest or something, they categorize that as terrorism. So you were at the same level for looting a fucking Target than you were
Yeah,
for
y'all
bombing
remember
the
that?
government.
Do y'all remember that when you were like, oh, it's just the fucking Target? Do y'all remember that?
It is
Terrorism.
terrorism.
God damn. You know, it's what's so funny, not funny, haha, but like funny,
Yeah.
ironic, is like a lot of these laws when it comes to like even Romania that we talked about last week or month, whatever, and
Yeah.
Spain, it's like a lot of the things that they're scared of is actively happening in
Right.
America right now. You're talking about things that happened 90 years ago, 50 years ago, are actively
Right.
happening in the United States right now. And it's just like, holy shit.
Right. Sure.
Craziness. Tribunal for the Eradication of Freemasonry and Communism.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah. Political parties and trade unions were forbidden except for the government party.
Yep.
Hundreds of militant and supporters of the party and trade unions declared illegal were imprisoned or executed. Let's face it, nobody was imprisoned.
Exactly.
Regional languages like Basque and Catalan were forbidden.
Mm-hmm.
I got a question.
Yes.
Because it's Spain. It's all Spain at the end of the day.
It's all Spain. This is just dialects that they're qualifying as.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bro, I'd be fucked. If they were like, you can only speak the Puerto Rican.
Oh, shit. That got me.
Let me get my R's back.
Let me get my R's back.
The Statutes of Autonomy of Catalonian, Galician, Galicia, and Basque country were abolished. What?
Yep. So now they were basically all Spain, which technically they already were. It's so
that
stupid.
Makes no fucking sense.
No sense. Zero sense. Girl.
I need a time machine. I need a fucking time machine. I will go. I'll put the th on the accents. I'll try my hardest. God. But like, tengo preguntas.
Yeah.
I has questions.
Oh, it gets better. Fine.
Executions, forced labor, and medical experiments. Oh, so Spain was dabbling in a medical experiment. Medical experiment. Listen, I spent time in Mississippi. I have a fucking excuse.
This is true. I'm just newly Southern.
At the end of the Spanish Civil War, the executions of the enemies of state, which is about to be Chela, continued. Some 50,000 people were killed.
Mm-hmm.
How does Spain still have a population?
At all.
Including the extrajudicial. Ooh, take a shot. I pronounced it right. The death squad. Executions of member of Spanish Maquis. Anti-Francois guerrillas and their supporters, the Lynx. Bro, this too much. This too much.
It's too much. So much. It gets worse.
It does. I keep like pausing because I'm reading ahead, and I'm just like, bro, this is bad. This is bad.
Mm-hmm.
In the province of Cordoba, another shot, 220 Maquis and 160
Enlaces.
I was getting there. I was sounding it the fuck out.
Proud of you. Me?
Damn it. Enlaces were killed. Thousands of men and women were imprisoned after the Civil War in Francois concentration camps. Approximately 367,000 to 500,000 prisoners were held in 50 camps or prisons. Just when I fucking thought that we were going to cover one fucking place that didn't have fucking concentration camps.
Nope. Just kidding.
LOL. Oh. After the war, the prisoners of Spain contained some 12,000 prisoners. Just 7 years later, in 1940, 280,000 prisoners were held in more than 500 prisons throughout the country. The main purpose of concentration camps was to classify the prisoners of war from the defeated Spanish Republic. Men and women who were classified as unrecoverable were put to death. What the fuck?
Genocide, bitch. Genocide.
This whole thing this whole thing has been fucking genocide. It's Spaniards killing Spaniards.
This is just a more organized, quote unquote, that they had going on. They just kill them left and right for the fuck of it. I don't
know. All because of Francie.
Mm-hmm.
After the war, the Republican prisoners were sent to work in militarized penal colonies, penal detachments. I'm trying to get anyway. Um, and disciplinary battalions of workers slash soldiers. What the fuck
Mm-hmm.
is going on? Thousands of prisoners were forced to work building dams, highways, and what the fuck does that say?
Guadalquivir Canal.
What she said.
Mm-hmm.
10,000 political prisoners worked on its construction between 1940 and 1962. That's 22 years.
Sure did. Yep.
How long did this shit last?
Till the 70s.
Are you serious? What the fuck? Bro, my fucking dad was born in 1962.
Yep. Me.
I'm gonna have to call him tomorrow. I'm gonna be like, did you know what Spain was doing when you were born? Because, like, granted, the 40s to the 60s was not a good time for any fucking country
Yeah.
at this point.
Really wasn't.
Well, like, goddamn. The Carabanchel.
Yeah,
I
take a
said that
shot.
right.
Take a shot.
Hey! Yes! The Carabanchel prison, the Valley of the Fallen. The Fallen what, Spain? The Fallen what? Because everybody was Spaniard. So everybody who fell was Spaniard.
Fact.
God, 20,000 political prisoners worked in its construction. Get the fuck out of here. And in the coal mines of Austria and Leon. Wait a minute. What? I'm confuzzled.
How are you confuzzled?
Those are actual places in Spain?
Yeah.
Because they sound like other countries.
They do, but they're part of Spain.
Okay. Okay. There was severe overcrowding in prisons. You don't fucking say. You don't fucking say. 270,000 prisoners were spread around jails with capacities for 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
So 250,000 more people than what these prisons were built for, or these jails were built for. This led to poor sanitary conditions and the lack of food. Huh. You don't say. It caused thousands of deaths, estimated around 15,000 deaths just in 1941, the worst year.
And it gets even worse.
That was the worst year. When Nazi Germany occupied France, Franco's politicians encouraged the Germans to detain and to deport thousands of Republican refugees to the concentration camps. 15,000 were deported to Nazi concentration camps. 5,000 out of 7,200 Spanish prisoners of Mauthausen died there, and that is just one camp.
They were sent to Auschwitz, all of the Nazi camps. Mauthausen just happened to be one of them.
Some Spanish Republicans were detained by the Gestapo, handed over to Spain, and executed. Another 15,000 were forced to work by Nazi building the Atlantic Wall. Purges and labor discrimination. What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Thousands of officials loyal to the Republic were expelled from the army. Thousands of university and school teachers lost their jobs. A quarter of all Spanish teachers. Priority for employment was always given to nationalist supporters, and it was necessary to have a good behavior certificate from local Falangist officials and parish priests. Furthermore, the Francois state encouraged tens of thousands of Spaniards to denounce their Republican neighbors and friends.
So, yeah. Fuck you, bitch.
So now we're getting into the campaign against Republican women. which it's only 4 bullet points, but I feel like I'm about to learn a lot in these 4 fucking bullet points. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my
God. Thousands of women suffered public humiliation, being paraded naked through the streets, being shaved and forced to ingest castor oil, as we mentioned in our last episode, so they would soil themselves in public, sexual harassment and rape. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, if you look in my direction, I'm punching you in the face. I cannot imagine doing the fucking
Parading.
The walk of shame.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. The houses and goods of widows of the Republicans were confiscated by the government. Thus, many Republican women living in total poverty were forced into prostitution. What?
Yep.
So these women who at some point had a good life got all their shit taken from them, forced into poverty to then be forced into prostitution.
What I forgot to put, bless you. What I forgot to put was them being forced into prostitution. They were now looked at as less than and morally corrupt, and thus could be killed.
This is giving me the sneezies. No, because like you're a wife.
Yep.
I'm a baby mom. Jesus Christ, I'm allergic to this information.
Our men are gone. They killed them. They were part of the Republicans.
Right. So let's say your man is gone. Josh is gone. I'm going to name Josh because I've named Josh numerous times in numerous episodes. I don't know if you want his name out there. Okay, so Justin and Josh are gone.
Yeah.
But you're a widow. I am but a baby mom. So if you're getting forced into prostitution, imagine what's happening to me.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh.
Yeah, because you technically have illegitimate children.
I do have illegitimate children.
You got some issues, girl.
Jesus Crustables. Thousands of women were executed, including myself, among them pregnant women. One judge said, "We cannot wait 7 months to execute a woman."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
I wish I could see her face. Like, that was everything.
Get the fuck out of here. The babies didn't do anything to you. And I don't even like kids.
Facts.
Oh my God. This Francois motherfucker needs to get pegged. I'm telling you, he's sexually repressed.
Probably.
He needs it up the butt.
He looks like it.
I don't know. I didn't Google any of these people, so you're gonna have to put a picture, and everybody's gonna have to vote on it. Everybody, you let us know. Email us or Facebook us if you think he needs to be pegged. Under the Francois, what?
Legislation.
Yes. A woman needed her husband's permission to take a job or open a bank. Yo, fuck that shit, bro.
Yeah.
I don't need a man to do shit for me, except for eat me from the back.
God damn.
I'm sorry, but I can get my own fucking job and open my own fucking bank account. I don't need a man to tell me shit. You can't tell me dick about nothing.
Can't talk dick about ass. Anyway.
Absolutely not. All I need you to do is eat it from the fucking back and tell me I'm pretty. That's all the fuck I need.
Yeah.
Again, my dad does listen to this podcast.
Making him proud.
Absolutely. I am my father's daughter. What are you talking about?
I didn't say that. I'm agreeing.
Adultery by women was a crime, but adultery by the husband was a crime only if he lives with his mistress. I'm setting the whole house on fire. Mm-hmm. Bro, I'm setting the whole fucking house on fire. What?
This one annoyed me. This next one annoyed me.
Yeah, because you're married. I'm not.
No, you'll see. Bye.
Marriage law. The divorce and marriage legislation of the Republic was retroactively reversed, with the divorces retroactively
Yep.
unmade and the children of civil marriages made illegitimate.
Imagine you being divorced finally from that scumbag. And then they're like, just kidding, you're married again.
Yo,
Freaking
fuck
annoyed.
that shit.
I was so annoyed by that.
I would be annoyed by that too, but then again, my children are already technically illegitimate.
Yeah.
Like they got my last name and everything.
Right.
And now we're down to the homosexuals.
Homosexual.
Homosexuals were first sent to concentration camps. Of course, I expected that because even in Nazi Germany, they wore the pink stars. Then the
Yep.
1954 reform of the 1933 Ley de Vagos y I don't know how to say that.
Maleantes.
Vagrancy Act declared homosexuality illegal. Around 5,000 homosexuals were arrested during Francoisism due to their sexual orientation.
Girl.
Now, I got a question.
Yes.
Are we talking the entire rainbow?
The entire rainbow.
Okay.
Not just men.
Okay, because that's what I was about to ask.
Yeah, I figured.
Bruh, fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck
But
this
that
shit, I'm out.
is
Nope.
the end of like everything. Now it's just aftermath. So like that was everyone that was affected.
Yeah.
Everybody in the subsections of Spain, gays, women, unmarried folk apparently.
Point out somebody who wasn't affected by these laws though.
Literally, everyone was.
Because
Everyone could be. Because it was also based off suspicion. So all I had to say was, Chela said some communist stuff. And they would be like, okay, kill her. It's crazy.
and I'd be like, well, the whole reason I said communist shit was because Michelle was out here spouting
Pretty much.
communist shit as
And they
well.
would be like, you know what? Let's just take both of them. We don't know. It's crazy.
That's insane. So far, Spain has killed most of their own people. They've killed pregnant women because they couldn't wait for them to give birth.
Yep.
They killed off homosexuals. They made it damn near impossible for women to fucking function as human beings.
And then they encouraged the Nazis far away to just take the Spaniards that they could find on top of it. So you couldn't even run.
For this part specifically, I need you to get a map of where Spain is versus where Germany is.
Oh, yes.
So people
Definitely.
can see just how far apart they are from
For
each
no
other.
fucking reason, bro. Dumbest shit I've ever heard.
So you can read the aftermath because I'm fucking done.
Sure. So the last concentration camp was closed in 1947, even though work that was pretty much preset went on until like the 70s. By the early 1950s, the parties and trade unions made it legal by the Francois state. Now you caught me saying Francois.
I gotta choose to say it.
God damn it. Francoist state have been decimated by the Francoist police, and the Spanish maquis have ceased to exist as an organized resistance. So they gave up trying to resist. Nevertheless, new forms of opposition started, like the unrest in universities and strikes in Barcelona, Madrid, and Vizcaya. The 1960s saw the start of labor strikes led by the Illegal Union Trade Workers Commission, linked to the Communist Party, and the protests in the universities continued to grow. Finally, with Franco's death in 1975, the Spanish transition to democracy commenced, and in 1978, the Spanish Constitution of 1978 was approved. So it literally took him dying for them to do anything. After Franco's death, the Spanish government approved the Spanish 1977 amnesty law, which granted a pardon for all the political crimes committed by supporters of the Francoist state, including the White Terror time, and by the democratic opposition. In October 2008, a Spanish judge, Baltasar Garzón, of the National Court of Spain, authorized for the first time an investigation into the disappearance and assassination of 114,000 victims of the Francois state between 1936 and 1952. So
That's
for
a
the first
lot.
time, yeah, this was Spain trying to recognize it. But his investigation proceeded on the basis of the notion that this mass murder constituted a crime against humanity, which cannot be subject to an amnesty or a statute of limitations. As a result, in May 2010, Garzón was accused of violating terms of the general amnesty, and his power as a jurist has been suspended pending further investigation. But as of September 2010, an Argentinian justice reopened a probe into the crimes during the Spanish Civil War and during Franco's reign. Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and the Council of Europe and the United Nations have all asked Spanish government to investigate the crimes of Franco's reign, which up
So
to
it's
now they have not done.
so essentially what they did to Germany, they're trying to do to Spain.
Correct. And Spain started that with Garzon's thing, but then they were like, haha, you're doing something wrong. And they accused him of violating terms. So Spain to this day has not recognized anything that they have done.
And we're in 2023.
Yeah.
We're in
so
20 fucking 23.
so that's where we stand. We didn't have a nice happy ending to put a bow on it. Unfortunately, yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't happen in history.
Right.
But we tell you these things so that y'all have a better understanding.
Exactly.
Because this shit is redonkulous, bro. All the shit that Spain literally got away with.
Yeah.
Because even to this day in 2023 and even in the early 2000s, we were finding people who were a part of the German regime who were found
Yeah,
in
we just found
Argentina
yeah.
and Brazil and shit like that were still being prosecuted for their shit. But now Spain is like, I don't know what the fuck you talking about.
What do you mean? What do you mean what happened? What are almost 200,000 people missing? What do you mean? Mm.
And you know what I don't understand, what I've never understand is Spain has such ties to the Catholic Church when in reality, the Catholic Church, I don't know if any of y'all know, the Vatican's in Rome, which
Yes,
is
correct.
Italy.
Correct.
So I don't understand how Spain had such a backing from the Catholic Church.
Crazy shit, man.
Because this shit's just insane. Like, I'm sorry, but if I was to become a dictator, I wouldn't have my own people fight against them.
Yeah, no. I agree.
Like, it's one thing to go after people who don't respect your same ideations and stuff like that. That's something different. But to then sit there and literally tear your own country apart, literally kill millions of fucking people
Mhm.
just because they were existing, just because they were vibing, like that to me makes absolutely no fucking sense. No, like I don't understand Spain's hatred for their own fucking people. I don't give a fuck that some people were Masons, some people were this, some people were that. At the end of the day, you're killing your own fucking people.
Yeah.
What do you what
Uh,
do you seem to
you
accomplish
know,
from murdering your own fucking people?
we always talk about like, what would you have done different? And it's like I wouldn't have started.
Absolutely not. I wouldn't have started this shit at all. I would definitely not have gotten the Catholic Church involved because fuck them. But for my own reasons,
Right.
I would have abolished the Catholic Church because
Agreed.
I don't need you.
Agreed.
If you guys hear me rummaging through shit, it was because I was looking through my bag for something. But like, I can be a dictator and not kill my own people, believe it or not. Maybe it's the Capricorn in me. Who fucking knows? Maybe we should have seen what year Francois was born in. Because this is
Right.
giving real Pisces energy.
Let's find out actually. He was a Sagittarius, December 4th.
Like your
That
husband.
yep. Which makes sense.
You would know more than me. I've never come across a Sagittarius in my life except for when I'm fucking around with Justin. Not that we have a polyamorous relationship. Holy shit. No, we just have very similar personalities. Although I am their sister wife, if you were curious.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us on this wonderful experience. of learning
Fuck this
things
whole
together.
journey.
It
Fuck
was a fun
Spain.
thing.
Fuck all the countries they conquered. Fuck all the countries that they sat there and imposed their language on. We should have been sitting here speaking Arawak
Facts.
as the Caribbean.
But
Because the shit that they did was fucking unforgivable. Like,
right.
yes, what Germany, Italy, and Russia did was also unforgivable. I'm not trying to downplay anybody else, but literally what Spain did was deplorable. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Like, they did not need to go as hard as they fucking did. All for this one fucking guy, too. Like, that's what, like, is insane to me.
Right, right.
Like, everybody else, you know, Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin, they all had an entire government of people who felt the exact same way they did.
Right.
And I don't know about you, but in this whole research, I feel like everybody was just like, well, to save my own ass, I'm not going to go against Francois.
Right. Pretty much.
You know, it was more so he literally reigned in fear.
Yeah.
Which to a point I can give props. But at the same time, I'm not going to kill my own fucking people to get what I want. Like, I would be more like Nicolae Ceausescu, trying to build up my own people. Yeah, there would be rations, and sorry if some of y'all lost y'all lives. I don't know. I'll give a stipend out
for
later
the greater,
in the year. But it was for the greater good. But I'm not going to sit here and pin my own fucking people against them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a fuck if your neighbor has daisies in their yard and you have sunflowers.
He was in ruling from October 1st, 1936, all the way till November 20th, 1975, when he died.
That's way too many fucking years. Somebody should have assassinated him sooner, or a coup d'etat must have happened. Should have happened sooner.
Yeah, completely agree. What did he die from? He fell ill from various health problems.
Of course he did. He got fucking poisoned. That's what that means.
He had a long battle with Parkinson's disease.
Of course he fucking did. Okay. Either that or he got fucking poisoned. Anyway, like and subscribe if you're listening to us on YouTube. Like us if you're on Facebook. Send us an email if you want to email us. If you want to hear about your own country or whatever the case may be, please email us. I'm the one that goes over the emails. I would love to see an email from some of you. Leave your thoughts on the comments, because you can leave comments on YouTube, or not just YouTube, but Spotify as well. You can also leave comments. And Facebook. We read them over. Trust me, we do. We take into consideration what y'all think. Also, if you guys want to donate to Michelle getting a new microphone, you can either cash at me at $Lopez Gisela 92, or you can cash app her at
$Goth Bay 2.
Yeah. Either way, if you do, you do. You don't, you don't. It's whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
We've done a whole season with her and her headphones. I'm just tired of hearing people bitch and complain about her audio. Also, if there's an atrocity or a serial killer, because we are ramping up also for the 3rd season, we're going back to, you know, serial killers and stuff like that. We're also going to be doing cults. So if you guys want to throw some cults that, you know, not your typical Heaven's Gate in Jonestown. I really don't want to talk about Jonestown.
Yeah.
Don't drink the Flavor-Aid.
That's right.
Because it wasn't Kool-Aid. It was Flavor-Aid.
Yep.
But also, let us know what you think. Let us know if we should keep going. Let us know if we should stop. We're probably still going to keep going because, again, we do this for the shits and gigs. We don't do this for monetary value.
Exactly.
So just let us know. Again, Spotify, Facebook, Twitter, Gmail, Instagram. We're everywhere. You just got to find us. Alcohol and Atrocities. We're everywhere. We're the 2 wine glasses with the eyeballs and the blood.
Yep.
So let us know what you think, what you don't like, what you do like, what you want to hear next, what you don't want to hear about. We're all for open discussion. Anyway, have a good night. Keep your assholes tight. Bye.
Bye.